Richardson. Paul George just picked his pocket.
That's an offensive foul.
No call, and then he scores.
To use that
Lead the league in. But Clippers have been averaging 16.8. Paul George gives them the lead with the three.
Paul George just made an emphatic statement as we get closer and closer to the 2023-24 NBA season. PG-13 was the latest athlete to cover the Slam magazine. By the way, happy to see Slam still around. PG-13 said he's going to be on his bully again next year. He said it was just a lot of unnecessary talk going around the NBA of guys feeling themselves and directing comments towards me that haven't done anything. I'm going right at whoever I got to go at. You are going to feel me. I'm having that approach every time I'm on the floor. I'm going to dominate and destroy you, says Paul George of the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm sorry, y'all. And look, I love watching Paul George play basketball. The problem is I feel like every year I get 10 games less of Paul George playing basketball. Look, I'm not one of these guys that lives life believing in jinxes and hoaxes, and I'm really not that big on most conspiracy theories out there. I just believe life is about hard work, opportunities, and sometimes a little bit of luck. But I would be lying to you if I didn't think there's something to these Clipper jinx theories out there. I'm sorry, man, because PG-13, don't get me wrong, he had injuries in the past with his tenures in Indiana and OKC, but usually they were kind of like all or nothing. I know he had that nagging injury in OKC with the shoulder, right? But that was the year that he pretty much was in the MVP conversation, if I'm not mistaken. Like, Paul George has had major injuries. Obviously, we remember the fall when he was a Pacer, that ugly fall on the fast break. But, more times than not, this was a dude that was going out there 65 games a year, somewhere around that. Said what? Some 70 games a year. We're at the point now where Paul George and Kawhi pretty much tit for tat. What are they at? Like 45, 50 games a year right now with the Clippers. And like I always say, the thing that really frustrates me with Kawhi and PG and how they do it, it ain't like they put together 15, 20 games of good health to kick the season off. Then they get hurt. And then it's like, okay, they play another 15, 20 games. Then they get hurt. They do it nastily. They start the season off hurt more times than not, right? Then they come into the season, and when they finally make their debut, then they miss another few games. Then it's like throughout the season, it's just play a couple games, miss 3 games. As a fan, you really can't plan to travel around seeing the Clippers. You really can't do that. And like I mentioned to you guys in the previous segment, fans traveling to LA to see the Clippers, a big tourism city, is going to be pivotal to the Los Angeles Clippers' success as their owner, Steve Ballmer, creates a new arena that's coming in a couple years' time here. So PG, to me, trying to sell me on being a bully after all the games he's missed is comical, if we're being honest. And the fact that he's been going around with a podcast pretty much interviewing every wing star not named LeBron and Kevin Durant there is this summer. It's like, what? Out of all summers, the year that you have a successful podcast, by the way, y'all know I'm not into athlete or rapper podcasts like that. I don't like them because I feel like people are softballing people on questions. Me as a longtime journalist, I just don't like it. I like pure journalism. That's what I love. That's what I grew up on. That's my itch. Seeing athletes and rappers lowball people in questions, it bothers me. But I will admit to you, PG actually got one of the podcasts from an athlete that I like. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think he's actually really good at it. And I think he does have some post-career opportunity in the space. He's actually really good at it. He's got some good guests on. Paul George is a star enough, by the way, to get those guys on. After you interview pretty much everybody in the league, now you trying to tell me you on your bully because you heard things? Obviously, I'm sure it's plausible, the fact that he was talking to a lot of stars and a lot of NBA players this offseason to try to get them on the pod. Maybe he did hear some things. But trying to sell me on you being the guy that's disrespected by comments other NBA players that made after you literally turned into Oprah this summer? Come on, Paul George. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? That's ridiculous, don't you think? Just a tad bit ridiculous, don't you think, PG-13? And I like your game. And also, Paul George trying to sell us on him being the guy that feels disrespected when literally, if you talk about athletes that get the most love, and more importantly, their games get the most love, There's not too many guys out there that young players today say they want to emulate more than Paul George. They love his game. They give him his credence and his respect. Oftentimes, to me, I think they give him a little too much. He's in the greatest hoopers conversation going right now. I'm not talking about NBA players, but the NBA players got a list of hoopers. This is like that Jamal Crawford type list. Obviously, PG is better than Jamal Crawford ever was, but y'all get what I'm saying. On that hoopers list, PG is up there because everybody believes that he has no weaknesses in his game offensively. I tend to agree. It is phenomenal to watch. I just want to watch it more. I just heard Brandon Miller, the young Charlotte Hornets protege, say Paul George was his GOAT. Now he's getting disrespected. I don't believe that. No, I don't. I believe he's getting shown a lot of love, and we're looking at how disappointing this Los Angeles Clippers run has been, all things considered. Y'all let me know, do y'all believe Paul George will be back on his bully next season?
I want to salute you, homie, for building your own thing and doing your own thing.
Why build theirs when I believe I can build my own?
You've already done it, or I wouldn't be here.
I'm already the only elite sports and music journalist in the game today. My goal is simple, to be the best there's ever been. So, please don't go. Make sure you subscribe and follow the journey. It truly means everything to me. I tell stories, I talk music, I cover sports. I am culture. I am Ferro.